I'm Casey Kasem. We don't stop till we reach the top.
Number 37.
Our third debut is the first top 40 hit for a group called the Black Crowes. It's a song about the perils of addiction and alienation, an unhappy story about a very sad person, a sad but beautiful girl. The Black Crowes with She Talks to Angels.
Never mentions the word addiction.
Casey's Top 40.
From Hollywood, this is Casey Kasem. Now, we're up to the first top 40 hit for the Black Crowes, a hard rock band led by a pair of brothers who are complete opposites. But they say it's their rocky relationship that makes the band work. Their names are Chris and Rich Robinson. Chris is the lead vocalist for the Black Crowes, and Rich is the lead guitarist. And though they grew up with the same parents in the same house, they say they come from different ends of the universe in terms of attitude. We're like night and day, says Chris. I'm loud. Rich is quiet. We don't look alike. We don't act alike. We don't think alike. We fight all the time. In fact, when a reporter asked each of the Robinson brothers to come up with a word that describes them, Rich said his word would be gold. His brother Chris said his word would be sinister. The other band members say the Robinson brothers really do fight all the time. In fact, they've had to be pulled off each other on many an occasion when words have led to punches. But the band members also say that it's the conflict between the Robinsons that keeps the band vibrant and alive, keeps everyone on their toes. And guitarist Jeff Cease says, quote, "It's just water off a duck's back. We've actually come to enjoy it." Well, this week, the band led by two brothers who seem to thrive on conflict moves up a notch to number 26 with a song about a very different kind of conflict, the battle of a woman against the tragedy of drug addiction. On Casey's Top 40, here are the Black Crowes with She Talks to Angels.
Coming up, a debut from the Black Crowes. It's a remake of a song from back in the 1960s by a soul music legend whose name was Otis Redding. The Crowes' lead singer, Chris Robinson, will tell us about it, and we'll even hear a piece of the original song when AT40 continues in moments. You've tapped into the hit zone, AT40 with The Shadow. He was a legendary soul singer in the 1960s. He died in a plane crash, and he didn't have a chance to become a giant superstar, although everyone's convinced that he would have been. There's no doubt about it. Otis Redding was one of the greats, and if you don't know about him, the Black Crowes are glad to spread the word. The band recorded an Otis Redding song for their debut album, Shake Your Moneymaker. So we asked Crowes' lead singer, Chris Robinson, if he was nervous taking on a song by a legend.
Yeah, definitely, because it's the same thing, we were like doing an Otis Redding song. I said, well, that's fine for you, but I'm not doing an Otis song. No thanks. I don't want that on my shoulders. But, we worked down rehearsals and turned it into a Black Crowes song, which was what it was about. It's the lightest moment on the album, I think. And I heard Otis's family really enjoys it, so that made me feel really good. In the circles I run in, of course, everyone knows who Otis Redding is. How can you go through life not knowing who Otis Redding is, Any kid who would buy an Otis Redding record because of a Black Crowes record, I've done my job. No one will ever write like that, and no one will ever sing songs like that. He's God. You know what I mean?
The Black Crowes swoop down to debut at number 36 with an old Otis Redding song called Hard to Handle. It's the follow-up to She Talks to Angels.
Hey, listen up, man. This is Chris Robinson, the Black Crowes. More Billboard hits are coming up right here on American Top 40.
The hits from coast to coast, coast to coast. Casey's Top 40.
On Casey's Top 40, I'm Casey Kasem. Well, now we're up to the latest hit for the Black Crowes, a hard-working rock and roll band whose greatest love is performing live. In their first year and a half of touring, they did over 300 shows, a schedule that was particularly tough on Chris Robinson, the band's lead singer. He's a 6'2" study in perpetual motion, a Mick Jagger for the 90s. But Chris isn't exactly built like an NFL linebacker. The 6-foot-tall singer is a rail-thin 130 pounds. Chris says he's so thin, people have actually stopped him on the street and offered to buy him a meal. Well, somewhere before stop number 285 on their last tour, Chris should have taken one of those Good Samaritans up on their offer. You see, when the Black Crowes flew through England, they weren't content just to land at huge arenas. One night, they decided to swoop down at a small rock club for a more intimate jam. When word spread that the Black Crowes would be there, 1,000 people pushed their way into the club, double its normal capacity. The place was as hot and humid as a sauna. And after 2 hours of blistering rock and roll, the heat finally began to take its toll on the band. Right in the middle of a song, guitarist Jeff Cease staggered off the stage. He headed for the dressing room and walked right into the shower, clothes and all, while the band bravely played on. Moments later, Jeff walked back on stage, soaked to the skin, ready to rock some more. But lead singer Chris Robinson was not as lucky. As the band started the next song, Chris collapsed, a victim of the heat and exhaustion. He was rushed to the hospital, and after the doctors got a chance to give him a complete checkup, they prescribed 3 weeks rest and 3 square meals a day. They told Chris that, like that old rock and roll saying, he had literally bopped till he dropped. These days, Chris takes a lot better care of himself, and the Black Crowes don't just play hard-driving rock. From time to time, they also kick back. That's what they're doing on this song, the hit that moves up a notch to number 37 this week on Casey's Top 40. Here's Chris Robinson singing lead with the Black Crowes and Thorn in My Pride.
Elvis fans are having too much fun with his stamp, and Big Toe tests out the musical waters in L.A. All of this week's AT40 music news, and it's coming right up.
American Top 40, please hold.
Okay, what do you say we stand up and kick the paper feed and the fax machine into motion? It's time, once again, my friends, for our latest installment of AT40 Music News. Fans lined around the block at the famous Troubadour Club in Hollywood just to see the band called Big Toe. Okay, I'll let you in on it. Big Toe is actually 3 members of the Black Crowes: Steve Gorman, Mark Ford, and lead singer Chris Robinson. So the question is, now that they've hit the big time, why book a gig under a different name? As Chris put it, a vacation from playing Crowes music, man. And so it goes. Yet another week in the world of AT40 Music News.
Hey, this is Chris from the Black Crowes. Chris Robinson, that is. And you're tuned to The Shadow on American Top 40.